Hi, this is Joe Ramsey. That's Ben Otero, and this is Movie Mania. We're going to be talking about Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And the 1982 one, not the new one. No thanks to the new one. This movie, the basic plot: Barbarian is hell-bent on revenge, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, by a wizard cult leader, sort of, played by James Earl Jones, who had a magnificent head of hair, by the way.
That was crazy.
It was weird, wasn't it? The wig, I couldn't get over it. He could have played Darth Vader with that head.
I wish he would have.
The black hair. It was
black
amazing.
hair coming out of the Darth Vader suit.
That would have been glorious. He had the.
It would have been his cape.
It would have been his cape. Yeah. Everybody in that movie. This is something that I kept thinking about too.
Very corny movie.
A very corny movie. Everyone's hair. I want to talk about though. You could have replaced the entire cast with White Snake or something, and I wouldn't have said anything different.
You wouldn't have cared.
Works.
Yeah.
Everyone had the '80s hair. Everyone had the bangs going down. I was like, this is glorious.
Conan's hair was very different. I guess that is the word for it. It's just
everyone had Van Halen could have just walked right in, and the frame would have been like they're clearly dressed for the movie. So, like I said, this movie is very strange because. This got about it was a world-building movie, like a universe kind of thing. So it did have to be a little bit strange. It was just so fantasy and Lord
I felt
of the Ringsy.
It started the fantasy thing back in 1980.
I could see that.
You get Deathstalker or Darkstalker?
Yeah, Darkstalker. Yeah, there's several of those. And,
very bizarre movies.
This did start it, I think.
That just pushed the limits of imagination and sanity.
I agree.
Yeah.
The never-ending story.
Pretty much.
Could have seen that. You and I talked about this at one point. Snake arrows.
Snake arrows. That is interesting.
James Earl Jones in the movie at one point, because he's a wizard and he can talk to snakes and all this stuff. He says something to a snake at one point, which I didn't know what he was doing.
Okay, so it's a normal snake. He grabs it off his back. He doesn't even keep them in a quiver. They're just hanging from his back. He just grabs it, and they cut. And then they cut back to him, and it's an arrow.
He actually does it. He grabs the snake, and starting from the tail, he does this, and it just becomes a straight arrow.
That's right.
And it's just a snake arrow. And
it was so weird.
I couldn't even get over it.
I loved it,
what
though.
am I looking at?
I loved it, though, because he would shoot snakes at people.
It was so strange. Did they just, with their mouth open? I don't understand how it happened.
Probably the mouth open, and when it hit, it would bite on. Yeah. Don't ask how it would know to bite on. But
I'm not asking how any of this movie's going to work, because it was just a weird movie. One thing, speaking of that, snakes were a very big presence throughout the whole movie. Everything symbol was snake and all that. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on the giant snake. There's a scene in the movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger is kind of learning to be a thief. He goes into a temple and he's trying to steal. They're stealing everything in sight, but he tries to steal something, a significant jewel.
The eye of the snake.
The eye of the
serpent.
The eye of the serpent. Yes. And there's a giant snake that's protecting it.
I felt they should have killed the snake.
They did.
No, before they stole it, while it was still sleeping.
Oh.
Why wait for it? And why didn't he notice it? It's a giant snake. You gotta, when someone walks into a room behind you.
There's snakes all over the building.
No, but I mean, it's a giant snake.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, this is a giant
It is a giant
snake.
It's about the size of this table.
It's huge.
I really liked that. That was probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie because they were trying to be quiet while they were trying to kill it, which I really thought was cool. They're trying to muffle their sounds and everything, but
I like the archer guy. He shot the snake to the wall, so it couldn't move. That was cool.
That was cool. And kill in the head.
And I love how all the priests and priestesses and people, they're going to sacrifice a girl to the snake, and they're all above this pit, but they don't see this stuff going on.
Yeah, it was very obvious. They weren't standing on big platforms. A lot of that floor was
small
open.
Little platform.
You could see all down there. So yeah, it was a little weird.
And then she jumps off
Yeah, then they notice it's gone. But one of the things that I do want to mention though is that this movie actually got brought up in points to me because of the CGI snake, or because of the non-CGI snake. I'm sick of CGI movies with giant snakes and things like that. And this was nice because there's really something there. It was really, I guess it was a puppet or something.
Practical effects.
Yeah, and
we need more practical effects.
That's what I'm saying. Is that
the new Evil Dead movie almost completely ditched CGI in favor of practical effects.
Huh? I did not know that. That's interesting. I do miss a lot of that. It's a lost art at this point, I think. So if you had to give this movie any final thoughts or number rating, what would you give it?
This is hard for me because I know a lot of people love this movie, And I feel I didn't see it at the right time. Like, if I would have seen it about 5 years ago, I would have enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Because the plot, almost, if you can even call it a plot, it just feels very...
Very different.
Very
strange.
Very strange. And I would give it like a 5 or a 6.
5 or 6.
I know people are going to hate me for that, but I didn't enjoy it that much. There were some corny moments that I liked, but besides that...
I feel like this
really
one had
weird.
a lot less corny moments. Arnold Schwarzenegger punches a camel and knocks it out, which I thought was weird.
There was also another scene that was just very...
Oh, there were too many to count.
Yeah,
really,
it was
but,
really weird.
This movie actually got brought up in points for me.
If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. A very weird scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I put myself in the role of being that age, but I would like that movie sometimes. So I watched this and I actually really liked it. Yeah. So I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. But it would have been a 7 if that snake was made out of CGI. Okay. No joke. It's an 8 because of the snake.
Yeah.
So anyway. I'm Joe Ramsey. This is Ben Altero. We were just talking about Conan the Barbarian, and here on Movie Mania.